Hello, um, it's me, Vixen, and I am starting a DIY thing to help people learn how to make ears. And so here we are, telling you what I'm giving you. So when buying my DIY ears, you get 1 to 2 colors of fur, pre-cut wire, a printed out pattern, a fine tip glue bottle for attaching your jewels, flat back gems, jump rings for piercings to make the charm, and a surprise and a surprise charm. I'll be teaching you a few ways of how to make the ears, including with this toothbrush, because I know a lot of people can't afford an airbrush machine. So I'm just going to show this for a very long time for no reason on here, because I'm new to YouTube editing. So please excuse me. I don't know how to YouTube edit. And everything you see here is what you're going to need. Lots of scissors, pliers, shears, wire cutters, and so on. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and become a part of my community. It would mean a lot to me on YouTube. So yeah. Also, another important thing you'll need is this marker. You will need to supply it yourself, but it's a disappearing ink marker, and I suggest it to everyone. First thing we gotta do is cut out our pattern. My patterns include which way your pattern needs to go with the fur. So there's little arrows on each segment or pattern that you can cut out. I will just be using one because I know which way the fur needs to go. So sorry about that. I will be showing you that also I will be putting the arrows on the fur as well. So yeah. These ears are roughly about 2 inches tall. I measured it for you. As you can see, I did put the arrow of which way the fur needs to go, so you can match it up with your patterns and not get all confused which way it needs to go. And then you're going to trace them, and you're going to trace a lot. And yeah, so just trace them, keep on doing it. I promise you're going to want to make the ears. Now I kind of hold it with like little finger, like my fingies like that, but you can also find like a coin or something with a little bit more weight so you don't have to hold it with your hand. I usually do that, but I may not have a weight purpose. I'm showing you the way I do it without a weight. And then that's what it should look like on your piece of fur that I give you. And then you're going to cut them. Now you can use an X-Acto knife, but I like to use scissors because I like a clean, straight edge. I noticed that X-Acto knives and or blades can be, one, a little triggering to some people, but also it will snag the fur, and I don't really like doing that because I want my edges to be as straight as possible. So yeah. And with cutting, you can kind of just do like 1.5 by 1.5 inches. This way you're not cutting unnecessary fur underneath, which is another reason why people usually use an X-Acto blade. But as long as you go slow and steady, you shouldn't cut any extra fur access off or cut off chunks that you actually need to make the ears. I promise it's all going to be okay. And while we're here, when getting your DIY packet from me, you will also, I have listed the supplies you need to supply yourself as well. And I supply a bunch of stuff for you, so don't worry. Now that we have them all cut out, we're gonna brush all the excess fur off just to make sure they're nice and clean and neat. We don't want any stragglers because they will be annoying. And we don't And when making stuff with fur, you just want to relieve yourself of any nuisances or you'll cry. And by the way, this entire video is either sped up by 2 times or 4 times. So this took me about 2 hours to make, so it is about a 2-hour make time, unfortunately. So if you are not dedicated, yeah. Here I am going to show you a little trick. So sometimes fur comes with crinkles or creases in it. If you don't want those crinkles or creases in your fur, I highly suggest air or blow drying it on a medium heat just for a few seconds to get rid of those crinkles. You can technically do it before you cut them, but I don't. And you're going to be brushing these ears the entire time. There's so much brushing. Look at all that brushing I do. Man. I use a mini glue gun. So yeah. You can use whatever glue gun you want, but I prefer the mini ones because I like stuff that are little. It's great. Littles is good. Here I'm teaching you how to bone the inside of your ears. I did measure it exactly to help you out. I do believe it was like maybe 1 centimeter in, almost 2 centimeters in. And then when you are putting in your glue, I kind of like do like a little trick where I put it between the 15 gauge wire and the fabric. This way it creates like a really even consistency to not make lumpy ears, because lumpy ears are the worst. And I'm going to show you, you also do not want to do it from top to bottom all the way. You only want to do the shaft of the wire. You don't want to go all the way up or all the way down, or you're getting some fuckery. And I'm right here showing you something that is super important to me. Make sure you buy products that is longevity purposes, because I had to have hand surgery. And so now I can only use certain products. So I'm like over here like, let me tell you about these pliers. They're the best. So yeah, this is the ones I use. Also, anything I use or that you see in this video, I have a supply buy over on my website at www.vixensvault.com. It should be linked in the description. Now I'm just showing you what I do to make sure everything looks nice and even. I'm twisting it, you know, doing all that jazz, making it look super good. Still keeping about that 1 to almost 2 centimeter mark from the fur. And again, only shaft of the wire. Don't go all the way down. You'll see why in a second. Now to get those really 3-dimensional ears or really posable ears, what you gotta do is you want to, once again, fold in at that corner right there, and then I measure with my fingers because I'm a crazy person and I don't like to bring out my measuring tape. I do the 2-finger rule and then twist. So that's what I do with all my ears. Depending on the ear, sometimes 3 or 4-finger rule, but 2-finger rule and twist. This way you're able to pose and bend your ear as you please. And that is how the boning of your ear should look. Just like that. And then you do it to the other ear, and then you glue in just a second. So there they are both. They're all done did. And I do foamless ears. I don't like adding foam in my ears. It is very, very difficult to maintain foam ears, in my opinion. I just don't like them. They don't hold very well. Alright, now how you glue is you want to go like that, but don't glue yet. You want to do one at a time. I'm just showing you where you want to start. The very bottom of your ear, and you're going to match up both bottom parts to do that. And I'm going to zoom in because I realize you were too far away. So when putting it on, we're going to do a sandwich trick where you are going to line up the bottom as evenly and perfectly as possible, and you only have one chance to do this or the ear's going to look like shit. And then you'll cry, like me. And then you want to pinch it. You do a little pinchy pinch, and if some glue excess comes out, that's totally fine. You can cut it off. And also don't worry about if you did not cut the pattern out exactly the way you need it. You can cut off the excess later because it's called just being smart, okay? You don't have to worry about it. And then we're going to go piece by piece all the way up the ear. We're going to smush it. Don't go as fast as me. Take your time. I'm a professional. And then you pinch them. Pinch them real good because you want to make sure that shit sticks forever. This is what I'm talking about. It's okay if it doesn't fold perfectly, if it doesn't do anything right. And then you gotta do the same thing next year, okay? With me, and you'll see I'm in a world of furry entertainment. And this is where I'm showing you can just cut off the excess glue. So don't worry if you get too much glue on there. Just don't try to get in the fibers or your fibers will get fucked. And squish it. Pinchy, pinchy. So another thing I'm going to show you is those white scissors I'm using are for anything but fabric. My black scissors are fabric only. So rule of thumb, you should have fabric scissors and regular scissors. As you can see, I'm only cutting the fabric with these ones. The other ones are for glue. And keep on brushing. And you saw how that corner wasn't exactly glued on all the way. You can just do a little dabby dab and you'll be fine. You can do a little dabby dab, fix the glue, cut off the excess fur, and just keep brushing. Keep brushing your life away. Also, you will need the rat tail comb that I'm using. So if you don't have one, you should go get one because that's how I make these ears so nice. I don't remember what I was supposed to say here, so just watch me be a silly goose and point at this. Oh, I was teaching you how to hold it. Duh. You're supposed to hold it like this. But don't hold it from the don't hold it from the wire. You want to hold it with the fur. So you want to give it a nice big old hug with your hand. And this motion is super important that I am showing you. You learn it in cosmetology school. It helps you with fades. You have to do it with the fur if you want a fluffy back. And if you want extra fluffy ears, maybe measure, depending on the ear size, you may want, depends on how you want your ear to be honest. But I did about an inch, half an inch right here, and I pulled it out and I saved it for later. And you just pull it all the way down and you move this to the side. But if you want floof ears, this is how you do it. Parting the fur and being as exact as possible with parting it is super important. Just part it. Trust me, you're going to want to part. Again, showing you how important it is to do that motion. I wish I remember the term of it, but I know people use it to create fades and help it look like a really I want you to think like an over-exaggerated layer look. And I kind of get rid of the edges with it, but you can also just take your scissors and like cut the little flyaways off around the edge. It works like that. I did this all streaming, so you might see some things that aren't meant for being on YouTube, but just keep on trimming your life away. And you're gonna kind of pose it too, so you can make sure it looks good when it's posed and shaved, or it might look a little silly. So pose it how you want it to be on your head, and then continue to shave. And keep on brushing. And then place it down flat when you're done so you can match the other ear to it. you're still going, yeah, clean that all up, clean all of that up. I do this little motion trick where I just swirl it all in the circles, and it really works. And so what you're gonna do is you're still gonna do that inch, half an inch, pull out, and then you're gonna redo it. But here I cheat, and you're gonna want to hold it a little differently. You're gonna hold it like you're holding flowers instead of a whole fist, just because angles are important and you want your hands to stay nice. Now this is where your eyes come into the battle. You want to keep looking back and forth between the ear to make sure they're as even and as structured as possible. Like the other one, just keep on, yep, just like that. You're gonna show them off. You're gonna see where there's some areas that don't look like the other, and you're just going to fix that. You're gonna fix it until hell freezes over. Just do it, trust me. You want a beautiful ear? You take your time. You look at it until you're blind. And now I'm showing you how to shave the front. I kind of measure it really badly right here. I don't even show you how to measure it until a second. And then I realize I have to cut even more stuff off, even more glue, because I'm a silly goose. But that's okay. And here I am measuring it. I don't remember. It looks like about, oh, there you go, 75% of an inch. About 75% of an inch you need to do. And then you're going to take a little front piece off that. And you're going to diagonal it to about the middle of the ear. You're going to cut it with your scissors. And then you're going to shave the heck out of it. Because we don't want any hair there. None there at all whatsoever. Shave that shit. And then you're going to part like sideways down the middle. See, like it's a little crooked. That's what we want. A little crooked. And then you brush even more. And I'm not using any guards on my shears. You're just going to want to do it. And that's how it looks for now. I haven't done anything. And that little white bit you see up there, don't worry about it. We're going to paint it. And then repeat. And then make sure it looks just like the other one. This is such a process. And again, do a little bit of a diagonal down, and then you brush it, and you brush it some more, and then you're gonna shave it right on off. Just like your sideburns. And we're just halfway through the video. There's so much more I gotta show you. This is what I call marrying them. So I give them a little hug. So, you know, the ears aren't gonna be even because guess what? We're humans and we have flaws. So what I like to do is I smush them like this together to make sure they're as even and as straight as possible because I want them to match. I want them to be as perfect as possible. This is me showing you how to use shears. You do not want to use your whole hand. You want to just use your thumb and only your thumb or you will get arthritis and cry. Also, here's a fast trick of you being able to hold your shears and your comb at the same time. As you can see, picking it up and dropping it is going to not save you any time. You see how I have to pick up my comb every single time? It's going to drive you crazy. I think I forget to do this myself. But here I am with the shears I'm doing tip cuts. You don't want to just go in there flat. You want to tip cut it with the tooth scissors. The tooth shears. And see how I just pick up the comb and hold the shears like I am? You're going to want to do that so you don't have to put down the scissors and then pick up the comb or you will cry. Just like that. You see how I drop my scissors like a silly goose? Don't do that. Why did I do that? I'm a bad example. Please stop Hit Waves. Lead by example. I failed. I failed you all. This is what happens when you're a cosmetologist and you don't work on hair, but you start making ears. And now this is what it looks like, because I did a little tippy cut. Lots of tippy cuts. You don't even cut the back of the ears. You don't have to. And then we're going to do more brushing and more forming to make sure it's what we want. And ta-da! It's what we want. And don't worry about the white dots. We're going to get rid of it. Now repeat with the other ear. Don't side, just tip cut, please. Just tip cut only. And now you gotta make sure they're even. And you'll have to cut even more because you realize they're not even and you want to make sure they are. And here we go. The adventure of making sure the ears look as twin as possible. Slow motion. And we're gonna paint now. Look how even they are. Look how perfect. What cuties. And this is what you possibly can make if you follow all my tips and tricks. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the toothbrush way. You can also get a Sharpie. So pretend this is in fact a Sharpie, and you can just take a red Sharpie and erase those little white specks and be good and be done. But alas, I did not buy a Sharpie for this tutorial because I am a stinky doo-doo face. So I'm going to show you something a little different that you can also do instead to get rid of those dang white dots. Right there, you see those? Yuck. We don't want those. We want those eliminated. And usually you're gonna get this and a Sharpie and then rub it with a toothbrush. But guess what I forgot? The Sharpie! So here's our magical toothbrush. And you will just do a little squubby squub. But I'm gonna show you toothbrush in alcohol ink because that's what I have on hand. And just make sure you get it in there as good as you can. I forgot to cut this out. Anyways, what's your tell me in your comments, what's your favorite animal? Tell me in the comments below. Alright, so I just kind of put the dye on it and I scrub that bitch in. And as you can see, the white dots have been eliminated with a little bit of alcohol ink and a toothbrush. And then you won't have the white dots and they'll look so much better. See the difference? Perfection. And then rinse, lather, repeat. And rub that shit all over the ear. And also, I do the underneath of the ear. I know that might be a bit much, but I just don't want that shit there. I don't want to see it. I want a perfect, clean, all red ear. No white specks anywhere. Ta-da! It's perfect! If you want to be done here, you can be. But I'm going to show you some even more stuff you can do. And now we're at the airbrush. I'm going to teach you some airbrush tricks. And I don't usually use paper. I usually just put it on my hand. But I have to show you with paper anyways. So you want your airbrush to go straight. If it's going out sideways or the other way, you need to fix your needle in there. Or you're going to be all sad because you can't spray right and then cry about it later and have emotional damage. Anyways, but yeah, here's me showing you how to airbrush some ears. This is what I call a paint seam cutting. I know that's probably not the right term, but I just paint, seam, and cut the little yellow white things. They're not yellow, they're white. The white things out of there. Also, I'm being stinky in here. Please be sure when you are painting and or cutting your ears that you are wearing a mask. Because guess what? Did you know the airbrush machine stuff can give you cancer? Because I am in fact using red ink, and red ink has a chance of giving you cancer. Fun fact. Also, you need to also wear a mask while shaving the ears because the microfibers can get into your lungs and never come out and you will die in early age, so please wear face protection. Also, make sure your house is ventilated. Wherever you're painting, make sure you're in front of a window. I'm holding my breath between doing this because I'm dumb. But yeah, I literally have a window like right next to me when I do this. And then you're just gonna airbrush. I can't believe this is in 4 times. Like, do I move this slow? Am I this slow? Oh, also, I don't have anything to hold my airbrush kit with, so I just use a roll of duct tape. Save money, live better, duct tape roll. And I am going over the other ear with the airbrush because it's my preferred way. I just wanted to show you another way. I'm sorry if you heard that. My kid is making goblin noises in the other room. I put red all over it because I want it to be an even red. I don't know why I'm like this. So I feel like if it was a waste of paint if I didn't put it all over the ear. Alright, now we're done with the red. Put it away. Now we're going to use the black because I said let's make these a little more fancy for funsies for this video. I use three different airbrush guns to do this because I'm silly. So this is just my dedicated black airbrush gun because I don't want to have to clean out the colors every time. You don't have to do that. You can just clean them out. I just want to save time. And now we're gonna do a little bit of detailing. You see how cool these are coming out? They're coming out so cool. We're gonna put some inside ear black blushing. We did a little line on the other side. We're making sure it's nice and even. We're gonna add some shading as well in just a second. And brush them again. Just keep on brushing them. And I left the frame here, like an asshole. There we go. So I'm doing a little corner blushing, some corner shading just because I wanted to add an extra flare of pow or something like that. And now we're gonna add some right there to create some depth and dimension to the ear because it looks good that way. We're almost done painting, I promise. These will be the types of crystals you get in your packet, but for this video purpose, I'm going to use my Swarovski that I paid for myself. Now I'm also going to show you how to open and close and spread apart your O-rings that you make your piercings with, because we don't actually pierce the ears here, we just make the illusion that they're pierced. And this is the bottle I'll be sending you that you have to put your glue in. You do need to supply the glue yourself to retain any mess on the way. You can use hot glue, but I suggest not because it looks like garbage. So I put a Fabric Fusion inside of these little teeny tiny fine tip glue bottles for attaching your flat back gems to. And I put a big old thing in that I break right here. I'm about to break it, you ready? And then I got upset. And I picked out some pretty cute spooky charms before this, and it was supposed to be in here. You all will also need one of these little wax dabbers to pick up your jewels. Or you can just use your fingers. I use this I like to, because look how easy it is to pick those up in that little tiny container. Imagine putting my fingers in that tiny ass container and have to pick each one out. Oof. And then you glob on your little dot. And you place your little gems. Now there's supposed to be like a little pointy bit there, but I in fact pushed it too hard and it ate it. My little wax pen ate it. So yeah, don't be me. Oh, I made the charms. I didn't show how to make them. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. You will also get one of these headbands with it, and you will want to wait about 10 minutes for your gems to dry. I, in fact, am just so badass, I don't have to. And with putting on your wire, you want to do it from the back and do the rule of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then that's it. You want to get it as taut as possible, and you're going to cut the top on the top, not the bottom, or you'll get it stuck in your hair and you'll cut your scalp, like I have in the past. Please cut on top, not the bottom. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you count the 3s. And cut on the top. Don't cut the bottom. And then you can form them. And yeah. And then you made ears. Look at you. You're making ears. It's so cool, right? You did it. Hell yeah. Ta-da. And these are the final photos. You are more than welcome to either buy my DIY pack and follow this, but I also decided to start making these as a build your own. So if you would rather just support me and get your own, you can do that. But yeah, thank you for watching my YouTube video. I really appreciate you being here. And here's all the colors you can choose from for your DIY or build your own. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Bye!